Hello friends, today we are going to be making chocolate no-bake cookies, and for this recipe you are going to need sugar, oats, baking cocoa, peanut butter, butter, vanilla extract, parchment paper, and milk. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is lay out enough parchment paper for about 2 dozen cookies. You'll need this for later, and I would also recommend having like a trivet or a pot holder handy just to set the hot saucepan on. So we are going to take that saucepan over to the stove and turn on medium to high heat. You'll probably want about a 3-quart size saucepan, and you are going to put the whole stick of butter in the saucepan. And now in hindsight, I really should have let the butter melt all the way before adding the next ingredients, but that's okay, it still turned out just fine. Next, you are going to need 2 cups of sugar, a 1/4 cup of baking cocoa, cocoa powder, and a 1/2 cup of milk. Now we are going to stir all of that together. Again, like I said, this would have been easier if I let the butter melt all the way first, but that's alright. We are just going to make sure those ingredients get thoroughly mixed, and we just want to make sure that that sugar isn't being scorched on the bottom, so make sure to scrape the bottom and even the sides as well. Make sure you do that really well, and we're just going to let that sit until that butter melts a bit more. And I think for now we will set that aside and we will prep our other ingredients. So you're going to want these ready to go. We are going to be using 3 cups of those oats. Once you have those oats all measured out, you can just set them aside and you will need them later. Next, we are going to be measuring out a 1/2 cup of peanut butter. I was at the very end of my jar here, so I had to really scrape. Had to open the new peanut butter, and oh my gosh, isn't that always so oddly satisfying? That fresh peanut butter. And then I dig right into it. Had to get that whole 1/2 cup of peanut butter, and if you have just a little bit extra, that's alright. Especially for me, I love peanut butter. I'm also going to be taking the lid off of the vanilla just because everything happens pretty quickly, so you just want that ready to go. Going back to the stove now, our butter is slightly more melted, but not quite all the way. I'm just making sure again that that sugar isn't burning on the bottom, and trying to get those ingredients really well combined. Now again, in this saucepan we have combined 1 stick of butter, 2 cups of sugar, a 1/4 cup of our cocoa powder, and a 1/2 cup of milk. And we are just going to let that heat until it starts to boil. Now once you see those bubbles start to form and it has reached boiling, we are going to turn the heat down to low and let it continue to boil for 3 minutes. Once that has boiled for 3 minutes, we are going to remove it from the heat. And then my pro tip here is to add the peanut butter first. That peanut butter can sometimes be pretty thick, and putting it in first will allow it to get a bit melty, and it'll combine better rather than having a big old chunk of peanut butter in when the oats are already in there. So I let that peanut butter sit in there first and kind of melt down. And then we are going to be adding 1 teaspoon of our vanilla extract. Now that peanut butter has melted down just a bit, then we are going to be adding those oats that we measured out, all of them at once. Once you've added the oats, just start stirring and getting those ingredients very well combined. It's going to be pretty thick, and it'll take a minute to get them all well combined. You're going to want to move pretty quickly though, because this will be setting. So you want to just make sure those are really well combined as well as you can. You'll get a bit of an arm workout, but stir, 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 and get all that chocolatey goodness around all those oats. Now once all of your oats are covered in chocolate, we are going to be taking it back over to where we have laid out our parchment paper earlier. Now back over to the parchment paper here. I find it's easiest to just use like a scoop if you have one, and then that pot can get kind of heavy, so that's why I recommend having like a trivet or a pot holder handy. And then we're just gonna scoop out that oat and chocolate mixture onto our parchment paper in like little globs. Sometimes it'll get a little bit messy, but that's okay. So we are just going to continue scooping out all of this oat mixture onto our parchment paper until it is gone. And once it is all spread out into our little cookie blobs, we are just going to let it rest for 30 minutes. Here are our no-bake cookies after they have set for 30 minutes. I'm just transferring them into a nice container with a lid, so that way they can keep throughout however long they're gonna last. They normally don't last too long in our house, less than a week for sure. I hope you have enjoyed making these no-bake cookies along with me. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed, comment down below if you made these, what did you think about them, and subscribe to my channel. If you want any more cooking or baking content, I love to do that around here, and we do even more than that. So yeah, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications for when I put out videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy cooking!